coming in there. Hello, good afternoon. This is the second time I'm going live because things don't always go right in technology land, but it was important for me to pop back on because I wanted to leave the conversation on my feed. So I thought, why not get back on live? Maybe it was meant to be. Maybe there's somebody else that wouldn't see it otherwise and they needed the message. So hello, everybody. If you are new to me or new to my world, I am Megan Holly, and I am in love with the community in which is a part of my social media platform, the business owners that I get to meet throughout what I do. And this morning, as the title says, Funky Fun Day, and my theory on niching, today was a day filled with walking the walk, if you will. As a branding photographer, I put a lot of people in that seat of uncomfortability of being in front of the camera, and they feel a lot of things when they do that. They feel a lot of negative talk happen. They feel a lot of butterflies in the tummy and belly. They feel a lot of things. And so because I know that that's the case, and I'm always working my best, and I have a lot of things up my sleeve for moving forward into the end of the year and for sure into next year to enhance their experience, give them even more tips, tricks, tools, tangibles to own the process of stepping up bigger and more into your business and visuals in particular. Right now, the best way that I can do that is walking the walk and doing that and putting myself in front of the camera often and all the things. And I hear people say a lot of times, I wish I could be you when I grow up, because they see my branding and my visuals and they're kind of out. A lot of my stuff is out there, right? I got disco balls and I'm doing the things and I'm all of that, but it doesn't always come easy. It's not without me going, oh, it feels so awkward right now, right? But I do it so that I know exactly what it feels like to be in your shoes. So my first part of this message and live is that if you have been scared of showing up in your business, now I'm not saying you have to be the poster child of like every photo that you ever put out into the world in your content on your website has to be you, your face, and all that stuff, right? I do believe very, very, very firmly that you should absolutely be somewhere. If somebody is going to purchase through you, or have a service provided by you, seeing you is what's going to make them more connected and more comfortable in the reach out. I just saw a statistic when I was putting something together the other day that something crazy like, don't quote me, but it was something like 80% of people have reported that they feel much more confident in pushing by or saying, let me get on this consultation, whatever the case is, when they have at least seen or understand a little bit about the person in the business, right? And now you could argue, and I will put this up, like out into the universe, right? You could argue that, like, have you ever, like, who knows what the owner of Nike looks like, right? Who knows what the owner of Nike looks like? I don't, off the top of my head. If I have seen them, I don't even know that I have. I'd have to go look. But Nike's been around forever. They get the hall pass in that side of things because they have an established brand, A. They sell a lifestyle, which people want to achieve and feel and be, right? People wear Nike who aren't even athletes, but they feel like they're part of something bigger. They feel part of something more robust. They feel maybe like they're a little bit more in tune with their active movement because they're wearing Nike. But besides that, right, their big umbrella of what they do and how they connect with you is huge beyond who you are. But when we're talking that you're a newer business, you're a business that comes to somebody's house or works with people in some way, shape, or form, it is huge for them to feel comfortable with you. For me, if people haven't seen me, I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't be as comfortable stepping into and in front of the camera with me if they haven't seen. So a lot of people always say, I feel like I know you already because I see you on stories, or, I've seen or heard about this. I know you're a dog person. I know you have a lot of plants, all this stuff. And so who's to say what it would be like if they didn't have that kind of recognition or feeling within being connected with me. And I do feel like, right, it's very important. So I kind of went up on a tangent there, but what I do is put myself in my client's shoes as regular as possible. I usually do, I obviously do some photos on my own. So you'll see on my feed a mix of me like with my phone, just very casual, or me doing self, I don't know if you call it like, is a self-portrait just like a portrait, or is it like whatever? But you'll see me doing things that are right out there and in the world and very Megan-y, that are my own. But then I also get in front of the camera with another photographer, and Summer is amazing and I love her. This is my little shout out to Summer, who is absolutely fabulous and puts up with my over the top things. All I can say is roller skates. We all know disco balls are a part of it all, but roller skates is a little spoiler alert as well. But I do that to walk the walk, to show that it is important, and to just constantly always know what it feels like to be putting myself in that space. Makes me be a better person in the industry that I'm in, and coach and all of that. And so I urge you, if you are figuring to and thinking to yourself, I really am lacking in having more personal touch. I'm using way too many stock photos now. Spoiler alert, stock photos are not bad to use. We all use it, myself included, and I'm a branding photographer. I could take a photo of anything and everything, but sometimes they just come into play. But they need to be very on brand and make sense and look cohesive with everything that you're doing. Not just a random template, not just a random photo that like you're looking for people like women laughing, but there's a million of them. Is it women laughing in this type of a location, or is it women laughing in a light, airy look? I can go on and on about that. Like, I feel like I need to class on like how to use stock photos better. If you're interested in that, let me know, because maybe it's something I could help with. But all I have to say is, using stock photos and templates and things like that, you need to have a mixture and mishmash of real photos that are your brand assets. So that's what I was doing this morning. I'm going to do a little shout out because I did it on my first live that died and didn't make it to the feed. A couple shout outs, and I will tag them because tags in lives don't stay until it is on the feed, to Crema Coffee in Plainfield, because me and my beautiful hairstylist who did, look at you guys, look at this. This was kind of my second look. So I had more of like I don't know, what do you want to call it, everyday look, because I was just like, I want my hair to feel nice and whatever. And then this was kind of my my badass look, and it hopefully that's showing up. But you guys, how do you think I can sleep in this? I'll just sleep on this side. So Victoria and I, after the session, she was with me the whole time, helping like kind of primp and do all the fun with my hair. She was throwing things. I'm not gonna give away too much because there's some fun stuff in these photos. And then we went to Crema. So shout out to Crema. Shout out to Victoria, who I will also tag. You guys probably see me put her in stories sometimes and things like that, and all the good things, because she has become like a heart human in my life, and I love what she's doing. I love her vibe and her brand and all that stuff. And then she just creates an experience. Like, you guys, she gave me these little gifts, which, hold on, I want to highlight because I know I follow them, and so Ursula Naturals, this little shower steamer, I can't even, I want to take a shower right now just to use this, but I'm going to wait because, again, I want this hair to last for a while. And she just comes with all the, the kindest touches. This one, Cult and King. Ooh. So thank you, Victoria, again. I think I've said it 4,000 times and you might get sick of me, but endlessly thankful and grateful for you. And then Summer, my summer braider, who puts up with my insane ideas. Like I said, spoiler alert, roller skates. I have lots of crazy ideas in my mind. So she puts up with all of it, and I am so thankful for it. But I'm going to wrap this up with my theory on niching. So if you've stuck it out this long and you came on just because you saw that in the title, thank you for listening through my ramble. But it was very important for me to remind people of that and talk through that side of things, of stepping into yourself, your visuals, your things, right? All of it. My theory on niching. So this has come up in a couple of conversations recently. So when that happens to me, it's telling me that there are people out there in the community, in my world, that might need to hear it, might need to remember or refresh this in their mind, might just have never really heard it in this way. So maybe this is the time that it's going to click. So there's always this big debate, right, on niching down, niching, whatever you want to say. I say niching because I feel like it sounds a little more fancy. Not that I'm super fancy. I'm very like, this is the fanciest I've looked in a hot minute. So that's, that's whatever. But now, here I'm like leaning now. I'm like, we're getting serious here. No. The question is, right? Like people get jumbled up. People get overwhelmed at the thought of, am I niched? Am I not niched? Do I need to niche? I don't want to niche. What category are you in? I don't know if I should niche. I don't even know what niching is. Do I have to niche? Or I don't want to niche. Do I have to? I was like, what are the 4 things I said? So no matter what category you're in, here is my theory on it. So I was talking with somebody yesterday. I met up with somebody who is amazing. I met with them for the first time. We had connected on LinkedIn, actually, which is one of the platforms that I am the worst about, but also see, right? Even when you're at your worst, but you're still showing up, there's connections and beautiful people to meet. So I met with this person. They happened to be local, and we went and got coffee. And there we were just talking about different things. We were getting to know each other, each other's businesses, all the things. And they are kind of in the graphic artistry world. So, doing graphic art. And somehow they were talking about kind of wanting to deep dive a little bit more into it. They wanted to kind of get a little bit more like, not specific, but like more consistent and more kind of like getting a better vision for where they're going. And we were talking about kind of the niching idea because they're like, well, I've worked with everybody in all the industries, from real estate agents to people in tech to, makers and creators and things like that. And, do I have to niche or can I just keep it open-ended? And it's like, well, there's lots of different theories on it, but my theory is this. So many people say your I promise or your mission statement has to say specifically hardline who I support, help, and impact in my business. And while I do agree with that, and if you look at if I'm articulating what it is I do and who I help, it is 90% of my clientele are female identifying, right? So they are women in business. And so I have that little 10% of males that are in my world. But so if I'm articulating, who am I going to speak to? Also, if you've seen my branding, typically the population that it connects with is females who like bright, vibrant, and, that kind of a feeling. And so in my mission statement, you would expect to see, I help support women in business to utilize their brand assets and create visuals that are undeniable and stop the scroll. That is off the top of my cuff, and right? I can say it in a million different ways, but that would be like calling out, right, women with a business, right? That's as specific as I got with that. Now, I help a lot of women in business with a lot of different spaces and places, but where I really love working is with people who are creators and or helpers. So jewelry makers, painters, artists, graphic designers, interior designers, people in therapy, people who are coaches, people who have wellness centers, who do Reiki, you name it, right? So helping and or creatives are truly my heart and soul clients, but that's your bottom dollar. I have real estate agents and people who are in like a little bit more of a broad, like all businesses in some way, shape, or form, I believe are helping, right? A real estate agent is helping, right? But it might not be in the same sense as we think of like a coach, a therapist, all that stuff. So I run the gamut with my clients, personal chefs, cooks, nutritionists, all the things. But what I attract more times than not, right, are the creatives and the helpers because of how I show up, because of who I am. People see that I'm a plant person and a dog person and that I take natural supplements and that I like to do yoga and meditate and that I have funky purple hair and that my walls have sparkle on them. This was from part of my branding session. And this wall over here has like a tie-dye effect, and I have blue couches and pink couches, and I love color and fun and all the things. And some people are gonna scroll by and go, oh gosh, that pulls me in, no matter what industry they're in. But a lot of times it's gonna pull in, right? Some people that have similar vibes. Now somebody, for lack of a better way of saying this, that's more in like a buttoned up industry or very like maybe, secure, like, and by secure I mean like security or like techie type things might go, oh, that's too playful, that's too, out there that's to whatever, keep on scrolling. Like, yeah, maybe she does photography, but like, will she be a good fit for us? Now, that person might still reach out because they go beyond the look and they just see what I do. That's okay too. But what I'm getting at is this. My theory on niching is that be clear on the back end. Here's my 2 things to wrap this up. Be clear on the back end of who it is that you help best, you can impact the most, and you can serve in the best way possible. Know who you're speaking to, yes. But do you have to be so overwhelmed and drawn out and overthinking of how you word it and what you do all the time? No. I think it's a mishy-mashy, right, teeter-totter balance between those 2 things of knowing who it is that really are the people that you can serve the best and their heart clients, and showing up as you, speaking in copy and having a website or a social and whatever other materials, digital and tangible, that are cohesive and feel like what you and your business are about. And that, more than any words on a piece of paper or mission statement on a website, is going to do much more for you. So that's my little tidbit into niching. So if you are sitting there maybe you're in a pivot, or you're just about to be in a space where you're gonna be more consistent or growing, like a growing phase in your business, and you're like, I gotta get clear on it. Remember, those 2 things go hand in hand, and neither one is more important in my mind or less needed. It's just finding the balance and not stressing yourself the heck out, man. It's like, we don't need to stress out over having the perfect words. Just start creating from the heart. That's when I do that for my own brand, and then also within what my clients are doing. 9.999999999 times out of 10, that's going to land 3,000% better. It's going to bring in more connective. It's going to do all the things way more. So I hope that this lands with somebody who needed to just have that reminder, refresh, or permission, which you don't need permission from me, by the way, but permission to do something in a different way, in a fresh way, in a way that you never thought. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my world. And I love each and every one of you in this community. And if you're new to me, thank you for being here. Thank you for popping on. I hope that I can be a part of just your journey in whatever way that is. If you have a moment, tag your own business and tag a favorite person that is in business, growing and doing their thing here, so we can celebrate each other. Whenever I do tag your favorite business post, it's my favorite thing when it pops off and people are tagging their favorite people, and maybe they're engaging or saying, oh, I love your page. Nothing makes me happier than seeing that, because I have met and created relationships with so many people via that. So take the time to do that. When I say it, it's not just to get engagement. That's besides the point for me. What it is that you never know who needs to look and find your message, your product, your service, whatever. And what if it's just this comment section right here and you find somebody? Because I sure as heck know that happens to me all the time. So I cannot be the only one. So tag yourself, tag a favorite business person in your life. I'm eliminating small business out of my vocabulary. You are a business. You are a growing business. You are a creative business. Find different ways to explain what you are when you're talking to people or when you're describing yourself. It's not small, baby. You got this. You keep growing. You keep changing, especially if you have a big vision for yourself. So you and your big, growing, beautiful business have a beautiful day, and I will talk soon.